When Vincent and I were about to process our divorce, he had a car accident and lost his memory. His memory stayed 8 years ago. That was when he loved me the most. Vincent looked at me with heavy eyes and asked, "Elena, tell me the truth. Do you want a divorce because you've fallen for someone else?" I sighed in exhaustion, remaining silent under his questioning. He forgot. The one who desperately wanted the divorce wasn't me. The one who fell in love with someone else wasn't me either. It was himself. But Vincent didn't believe he would fall for someone else. As if listening to a ridiculous nonsense, he sat on the bed and gazed at me quietly, then sneered. "Are you lying to me on purpose?" The blood clot from the accident pressed on his nerves, causing temporary memory loss. He forgot everything in these 8 years. 8 years ago, we just graduated. I stayed by his side through the hardships. At that time, he had eyes only for me. Scarlett, sitting by his side, tried to hold his hand through tears, but he avoided her, frowning with suppressed impatience. In a cold tone, he said to Scarlett, "Stay away from me." Scarlett froze, and then large tears began to stream down her face. Of course, despite her tears, she didn't forget to glare at me, as if I were the instigator of everything. I actually felt like laughing seeing this, but I couldn't. And Vincent and I truly had nothing left to say. Standing far from his bed, I said coldly, "The divorce agreement was drafted by your lawyers under your instruction. Your chief counsel weighed every word before showing it to you." He looked up at me fixedly, as if stung by my coldness, showing a rare look of hesitation and confusion, with a hint of pleading. But my heart was already like dead water. No matter how confused he was, he could no longer move me. I paused, then simply turned and left. I saw Vincent again half a month later. I had just picked Silas up from school. His gaze slowly shifted from me to Silas beside me, and his expression flickered with intense focus. He was always smart, even without 8 years of memory. He could piece together the story: success, marriage, betrayal, and divorce. I held Silas's hand, stopping far away from him, and asked coldly, "What are you doing here?" He seemed to restrain himself and asked, "Is he our child?" Silas wasn't close to him. He watched Vincent with quiet detachment, then looked up and called me Mom. I patted his head and told him to do his homework. He glanced at Vincent, hummed softly, and went inside. Vincent asked in bewilderment, "I don't understand, Elena." "Since college, my dream was to marry you, but..." He tried hard to remember, but the blood clot on his nerves stopped him. He rubbed his temples in pain. He looked up at me with sorrowful eyes, like an abandoned stray. He asked, "Why did we end up like this?" I read the divorce agreement. It's harsh and ruthless. I don't understand. Why would I want to divorce you? Because 8 years ago, your dream was to marry me. But 8 years later, your dream was to divorce me for Scarlett. Vincent and I had a typical story. We fell in love in college. He was the student union president, filming a promo about self-respect and strength, playing a jerk. I passed by, not knowing it was a rehearsal. I saw a girl clinging to his arm, crying, "I'm pregnant. Please don't leave me. I beg you." He frowned and said, "Go to the hospital and get an abortion." "Stop bothering me." I was furious. I walked up and smeared my half-eaten ice cream on his face, then took the girl's hand and said, "Girl, a jerk like him isn't worth it." The girl stopped crying, stunned. He wiped the ice cream off, looked at me with a half smile, and told his shocked team, "Exactly. This is the value we're promoting for the self-love chapter." I apologized profusely, blushing. He was gracious and waved it off. Later, I treated him to dinner as an apology, and after that, we were together. Vincent was a great boyfriend. We had many sweet memories. We fought too, but he was always the one to apologize first. In sophomore year, we fought while hiking. He was so angry he stormed ahead to avoid exploding at me. I couldn't keep up and soon lost sight of him. After a few hundred meters, I saw him waiting under a crooked tree. He muttered, "For the record, I'm still mad. I'm just afraid you won't catch up." At graduation, many broke up, but he held my hand and promised we'd marry. I turned down a great job back home to stay by his side. His early startup days were tough. We lived in a sunless basement, sharing mac and cheese. He'd push the few bits of bacon and broccoli to me, promising it wouldn't always be this hard. And then, he made it. Everything got on track. Then, he met Scarlett. Hearts change easily, and then we say, it's just human nature. In just 8 years, he changed so fast that I couldn't keep up. 7 years ago, Vincent's company had just finished Series A funding. He came back one night very excited and told me he had hired someone extraordinary, a top university grad, strong skills, capable with her own insights. Most importantly, he couldn't control his excitement. He said, "Elena, you have no idea. She understands my vision. She said I will definitely succeed." She already had offers from several Fortune 500 companies, but she chose to come to my place. He looked truly happy then, saying, "She will definitely be my right hand." I just smiled and watched him in silence. I think he must have forgotten that when he first started and everyone called him a fraud, I was the one who stayed by his side. I believed in his success even when he doubted himself. I never imagined Scarlett's name would haunt our lives for so long, becoming a nightmare beyond my darkest dreams. My first meeting with Scarlett was also 7 years ago. Airfung Tech didn't have its own building yet. Over a dozen people were squeezed into a small office. One rainy night, I went to pick him up. I nodded and glanced through the conference room glass. About 6 or 7 people were inside. Vincent was writing dense formulas on a blackboard. The tech guys were arguing until they were red in the face. They were deadlocked over a formula when I saw Scarlett. She smiled calmly, stood by Vincent, and added a line to the board. The noisy room suddenly went silent. In that silence, I saw Vincent look down and exchange a knowing smile with her. Such perfect rapport. Vincent was surprised to see me when he came out. He glanced at the torrential rain outside and asked, "It's pouring so hard, why did you come?" I didn't answer. My gaze passed over his shoulder, landing on Scarlett. She stood there with a faint smile, composedly letting me size her up while subtly observing me. I guess it's a sixth sense only women understand. Her intrusive posture was so obvious. I smiled and said subtly, "Hi, I'm Elena, Vincent's girlfriend." She smiled back. "I'm Scarlett, Vincent's assistant." Our first clash was silent. Vincent stood by my side, completely oblivious. He felt bad I came in the rain and asked tenderly what I wanted for dinner. In that quiet exchange, I won the first round. He and I, and Scarlett, have been entangled for too long. I don't think he ever imagined I'd be the one to ask for a divorce. In that moment, he was probably relieved. Given Vincent's character, bound by a cursed sense of duty, he would never have initiated the divorce even if he and Scarlett loved each other. Nothing special happened the day I asked for a divorce. Silas's teacher just called me to school because he had gotten into another fight. When I arrived, Silas and a chubby boy were standing against the wall. The other father, big and burly, glared at me. "How do you raise your kid? Look at these bruises." Silas looked up at me, covered in grass and dust, his face dirty but stubborn. I knelt down, wiped his face with my thumb, and whispered, "Why did you fight?" He kept his lips sealed. Seeing me ignoring him, the other father pushed my shoulder hard from behind. Caught off guard, I fell forward. Before I could get up, Silas rushed out like a little beast and bit the man's leg. The teachers screamed, and the office fell into total chaos. Neon lights were glowing when we left, both of us a mess. I held his hand and pointed at a window. "Want some ice cream?" He looked at his toes and nodded. Kids are easy to soothe. He was better on the drive back, but right before home he asked, "Mom, where's Dad?" His eyes were red. I knew he felt wronged. He rarely cries. He's stubborn for his age. But when I apologized to that burly man, he suddenly burst into loud sobs. Though not close to Vincent, he wanted his dad there. If Dad were there, Mom wouldn't have been bullied or forced to apologize. My hands stayed on the wheel, speechless. Vincent hadn't spent even 2 weeks with Silas since birth. At that moment, I just felt exhausted and wanted to give up. But I couldn't explain this to the Vincent stuck 8 years in the past. I didn't want to waste words anymore. I looked at him coldly. I said, "You have countless ways to find out the truth. You just don't want to believe it." Vincent had been sitting at my door. The early autumn air was turning cold. He hadn't fully recovered and looked frail, sitting there stubbornly in thin clothes. I looked away, ignoring him, leaving him to freeze outside. After a while, I looked up and saw him collapsed on the steps. He had fainted. I thought about it and called his assistant, who soon arrived with an ambulance. Soon after they left, Vincent's mother arrived. When he started his business, I was the perfect daughter-in-law in her eyes. Holding my hand, she said, "Good child, it's our family's great fortune to have you by his side." Later, with a faint smile, she told me, "Elena, it's not that I don't care, but Scarlett is more suitable for Vincent. You understand a mother's heart, right?" Scarlett was indeed more outstanding. I don't blame his mother's coldness, but I can't sit and have coffee with her without resentment. She wasn't comfortable either. After some small talk, she got to the point. "Elena, you're a good girl. I know you're divorcing Vincent. But you know Vincent's condition. He fainted again. The doctor said not to stress him. I hope you'll look after him after his discharge. His amnesia isn't permanent. As for the divorce, we originally didn't intend to fight you for Silas's custody. They didn't want him because she's waiting for Scarlett's better genes. Now, she's using Silas to threaten me. I gritted my teeth in fury, but these years taught me one thing: smile, no matter what. So I smiled and said, "I will take good care of Vincent."